Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri 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 Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram 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 Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Swamiji. Jai Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Yesterday we were talking about Mataji's words on the great void. Today, in her own words, she describes about the sadhana she went through. You are coming for the first time, no? This was established by Param Puja Papa, our master, and Puja Mataji. Mataji was the first and foremost disciple. At the time of inauguration, he said, the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. Divinity is the common factor in all of us, which we don't know. Because we don't know, we feel ourselves separate from others. So the me and mine is dominating, because we are not aware of the common denominator. So when the moment we become aware of the common denominator, which is called divinity, we cannot but love, we cannot but serve. For that he has given us a three-way method: Nam, Seva, Dhyan. Okay, this is the basis. So ashram is a place where facilities are given to practice this Nam, Seva, Dhyan. Any name we are comfortable with, but being an organization, we should have one name, you know. So here the Nam is Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And the Ram stands for whom? You know? It is not normally, you know, Lord Ramchandramurti of Ayodhya is remembered the moment you say Ram. Here it is Atma Ram. That's all. And to have some glimpse of Atma Ram, we ask three questions to ourselves. Did we do anything for our human birth? No. Did we do anything for this body? No. Did we bring anything with us when we came from the mother's womb? No. Did we make any provision for that which is basically needed for our existence, like air to breathe, water to drink, earth to exist, space to move about, body temperature, sun, rains, metals, minerals, gases, vegetables? Did we do anything like that? No. So there is a planner, no? That this the inquiry will make us know that there must be another power who has designed and drafted our life, who gave us this body, who saw to it that when we come, everything is made ready. And after we came out, the creature comforts one by one we started enjoying, including the language. We have not done anything. The dress, anything you name. So that has also been provided. Who we have forgotten. So in short, we exist because of the factors other than us, including the English language. We have not done anything. We have forgotten. We start from me and mine when we react to events and individuals. So Gurudev says you start remembering him by chanting his name. So this Ram stands for this. He is not only the originator, he is also the great provider. Okay? So sadhana is going on. So Mataji was explaining about her sadhana. That is the stage here. Okay? February 12th, 1981, 2 p.m. Bhajan Hall. Since 2 days, Mataji has been using the post-lunch session to explain to the European devotees how Beloved Papa had taken her through various stages of God realization and the various external signs shown by her as the Kundalini rose from center to center, and how she herself felt as each center was crossed. Mataji also described how her life expanded from one filled with body consciousness, the me and mine, to complete identification with and merger in the eternal. Today, Mataji asked the European devotees if they had understood what she had been telling them in the last 2 days, as translated to them by Sri Ramdas Haldipur. They replied they could understand you only in parts. Mataji then told them that she would now describe in a nutshell all that she had been saying in the last 2 days about the entire process of total merger with the infinite Papa. Like building a small house within a big mansion. Her explanation, she says, like building a small house within a big mansion. When she first started on the spiritual path, Mataji said, she was like anybody else. When she first started on the spiritual path, she was like anybody else with a home and a family of her own. Then Beloved Papa, her Guru, took her to himself and inspired her to ask for the Guru Mantra. As she went on chanting the Guru Mantra, Papa taught her to see everyone as his form and to serve them as she would serve him and to contemplate always on him. Then she reached the first stage of realization, which was the heart center. Her condition then was like that of a child which had come to know and love its parents and was entirely dependent on them for everything, knowing the others only in terms of their relationship to their parents. See how Mataji has meticulously gone through everything. When she attained the first stage of realization, so what is the first stage of realization? That is a long, every now and then you have to check. To see her, to see him in everyone. That means she must have done a lot of manana and she must have some idea that God is like, she said earlier, no? The great void. So everyone is in that great void. As she went on chanting the Guru Mantra, so first mantra, As she went on chanting simultaneously, this is the aspect we have to keep on hammering, 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 hammering. We also do chanting. She taught her, as she went on chanting the Guru Mantra, Papa taught her to see everyone as his form, capital H. That means the life pulsating in everybody. We can now start thinking, how is it that she was able to see the common factor? I exist because of the heart functions, and the heart functions in everybody, Simple. I exist because of the blood circulates. In everybody, the blood circulation is there. I exist because the inhaling, exhaling process goes on. Shasochvasa. Everybody has that. See, this could be the first starting point. This is common, Think. So each one has to develop. We don't know how she developed. This is something which we can easily how to see. When I see you, I must see him. What is that see? I must ask myself, how do I see? So something that is understandable to me and something that is in you, which I can understand. Probably that is the first bridge we are making. Papa taught her to see everyone as his form and to serve them as she would serve him. So once the common denominator has been identified, then the seva can come. Then only the seva can come with the right perspective. $200 organs are functioning in me. In you also $200 you also need a mind to think. I also need a mind to think. I also need air. You also need air. Like that we start, I need water. You need water. I need sunshine. You need sunshine. I need 98.4 degree temperature, body temperature. You also need body temperature. Like that, which are all easily identifiable. Then we will go deep later. At least first, how do I see the common factor? This is not the end, starting point. When I feel sick, I have to go to the doctor. When you feel sick, you have to go to the doctor. There are so many things. When you feel hungry, you have to eat. When I feel hungry, I have to eat. When I feel thirsty, I have to drink. When you feel thirsty, you have to. When my mind is very calm and peaceful, I am happy. When your mind is calm and peaceful, you are happy. When my mind is disturbed, I am unhappy. When your mind is disturbed, you are unhappy. Let us start. Let us not think that is the end. It is the starting point. Then she reached the first stage of realization, which was the heart center. Anyway, let us not be very technical about it, Kundalini rising, okay? Because none of us know about it. Her condition was then like that of a child which had come to know and love its parents and was entirely dependent on them for everything, knowing the others only in terms of their relationship to its parents. Initially, we all do that, no? Always we hold on to our parents. When she attained the first stage of realization, she was likewise looking to beloved Papa in his Saguna form for everything. She learned to look on all forms as Papa's forms. When her realization reached the second stage, the throat center, her condition was like that of a grown-up child who was no longer dependent entirely on his parents and whose circle of friends and relations had widened and who was trying to stand on its own legs. At this stage, she was gradually experiencing brief spells of void in her thought processes. Now, this is also another common thing in all of us. void. How do we say that it's a common thing? Can anybody think about it?
When we are sleeping, the mind is
When we sleep,
deep sleep. In deep sleep,
when we are in deep sleep,
the mind is not there.
the mind, the present mind is not there. Okay. It applies to everybody, no? Everybody. Then,
Nothing but Sushupti. Sushupti.
Sushupti. Sushupti might be not be available to everybody for a long time. Because normally Swapna will be there, dream state, and brief spells of Sushupti. Certain people are blessed with Sushupti. Otherwise, Swapna is there. Even in Swapna, we are relieved from the waking state.
You have feelings. Remembrance of the feelings when we are awake.
But that when we are the waking state, we can remember our
Yes.
dream state. That's all. But while we are in dream, we identify with that personality, not this personality. Do some thinking, But nothing is full stop. We have to keep on thinking. So here she says, so first she was depending upon, just like a child, she was depending upon these words, form. Then she, as she started moving, she started identifying this void. Brief spells of void. Void between the sound, two sound, between the two words, between the two breathing, between the two heartbeat, no? Now we don't know whether we are right. Mataji and Papa could scale the heights in such a short time because they were very, very clear about this great void, about which we have zero idea, even after doing for so many decades. See, in her case also, the word comes in a void.
I can't able to understand the void. As for the physical appearance is concerned, you told correct between the words, between the state, between. But when Adhyatma, when realization is come, I can't understand the void. The way.
No. It is not within the ambit of knowables. To make us know something about it, to lead us to that, Papa used to say stillness, silence. Stillness cannot be explained. One thought, another thought, stillness. For example, what do you see now? Book then?
Between the gap.
No.
Lines.
Lines, he said, Swamiji.
Lines. Line means what?
Content.
Content. That means words.
Words.
Anything else?
Nothing.
Nothing. But there is whiteness,
So
See, the whiteness is called the void. Without that whiteness, this cannot exist. But normally we don't understand this. We don't recognize this. So spiritual inquiry, spiritual journey enables us to go beyond the words and accept the words. Not that words are not there. Whiteness is not going to help us. Only the words are going to help us. But we hardly recognize the whiteness. Without whiteness, it cannot exist. That is by words.
behind the words, there is a witness.
Behind the words, behind the sound, behind the thought, behind everything, Now you see there is a gap between one word and another when we are talking. How much it is with us now? Anyway, when you utter a word, another word, there is a gap. So Mataji is pointing out At this stage, she was gradually experiencing brief spells of void in her thought processes. Then she attained the third stage. Her condition then was like a man who had left his native and gone abroad to get a job and settle down. He had not cut off his ties with his family, but his position was as good as having done so. In this state, she had lost practically all contact with the outside world. Though she continued to pursue her triple sadhana and Namdhyan seva, there would be great wide spaces or void in her thought processes. Hence, between one idea and another, there would be a long yawning gap of 5 or 6 hours. Pa, pa, pa. And while in that state, she was not inclined at all to speak to anyone. If anyone spoke to her, she would, with gestures, brush aside the disturbance, talking to herself, telling Papa why he had interrupted her silent state. People thought she was mad, for she talked to herself alone, made inexplicable gestures, and so on. Yet there were other times when she was not in that high state, and she would move with her relatives, talk to them normally, so they would be left wondering which condition of hers was the real one, the former or the latter. Another clue for us. Very, very important aspect. It will help in our sadhana. Instead of limiting our sadhana to the chanting session, to the satsang session, to the bhajan session, to the prayer session, we slowly now realize that this gap, this void, it is with us, it has been with us. So Mataji, even in her initial stages itself, she was able to get a glimpse of it and then got stabilized no matter how others said. Purely an inward journey. So she comes back and moves. But holding this. After some time in this condition, one day, like an outburst of flame, she crossed the third stage as a flash of light shot upward from the space, so and so. That was the end of her. So indescribably wonderful was the bliss she then enjoyed in that state that she had no desire whatsoever to return to the relative plane of body awareness. And she wanted to remain in that state. Yet, Papa told her that even the fourth and the final stage of realization was not enough if she wanted to know him in his perfection. She should enjoy the same bliss seeing her infinite Papa in the perishable world around her as well. That meant that she should have to descend to the relative plane from the absolute. It was no doubt like the ocean getting itself reduced to a dewdrop, just as merging in his infinite Swarup was like a dewdrop getting itself lost in the infinite. This was rather difficult to describe, but she would do her best. Illustrating her new stage by means of examples, Mataji said that before realization, one was acutely aware of one's body and accustomed to saying, my hand, my leg, and so on. Yet, when one passed away, one could not say where that me would have gone after the body had dropped. When one attained God realization and returned to the state of body consciousness, one did so with the full awareness that the body, the perishable as it was like the clothes one wore. When they grow old, we cast them aside, put on new ones. One who had attained the eternal descended to body consciousness in full awareness that the world was perishable. He moved and acted in the world, abiding in the eternal being. Did you understand what I spoke to you this afternoon? They nodded their heads in the affirmative. Then the French devotee had some questions. Subhuman conditions, she said, prevail in the West. How could one concentrate? It went on. She started, she was asked by the Guru to see him in everybody and serve everybody with that spirit, first stage. So for that we found that we try to identify first the common factor in all creations. The movement. Suppose now when we go, suppose an insect, we try to save it. Why? It is moving. We are also moving. So the unknowingly, the moving in reality in me makes me to identify the moving reality in that insect. The common factor has been identified. So I feel myself there, try to save it. Otherwise, I will put somebody will die. So now from this, easy. It's not easy, but easy to understand. That first Mataji tried to identify the common factor, and she was able to see the great void. Great void is the common factor. We started feeling we might change also. At the moment when we read, what comes to us is we try to identify the common factor in as many creations as possible. First, I should know my common factor. We were not able to identify the common factor because we have never recognized about the breathing. We have never recognized about the heartbeat. We have never recognized about this. We took it as granted, blood circulation. We never knew how we are seeing, the seeing entity in us, the hearing entity in us, the tasting entity in us. We took it as granted. We don't apply at all. Now we slowly try to understand, the same thing is there. For all human beings, we can definitely say.
Even animals eat.
Huh?
Even animals eat. Even plants assimilate food. All living beings. All living beings. Yeah.
First, let us concentrate on the. Yeah, no, when we start identifying the in the human segment, it will lead us to other segments definitely. So first we try to. When we were working with Jain, Jain philosophy gives thrust to ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa means, normally we thought, it is non-injury. It is you cannot do any himsa because you see the common dignity. You see yourself. For the sake of newcomers, I will repeat that example. Probably you also would not have understood the significance. We were going through a dense forest from Wayanad to Mysore, where a lot of wild animals are there. Normally, wild elephants will be there. So when they cross, we stop. Otherwise, they will attack us. So in our vehicle, in our car, there was a Shastri also, a person who is well versed in Jaina Shastras. We three were there. So this Jain suddenly stopped in the middle of the forest, thick forest, dense forest. Then he looked at the Shastri and said, if a wild elephant now comes charging us, what will you do? Because he is going to give a lecture on Ahimsa that evening in Mysore. And he knew that this Jain, he has also studied many things, and whatever he says, it comes from his bottom. A true devout Jain. So the Shastri, he has to answer also. He knew he has been trapped. So he plainly said like a child, I have not reached your state. So if the elephant comes, I will do something to save myself. He also said there is a double barrel gun. There is a double barrel gun in the car. And then only he explained. So he said, probably I may use it to save myself. So I felt a little embarrassed because he's an elderly person, well versed. He's telling his truth, but he should not feel hurt. And he was very plain. So I immediately asked him, Jain, what will you do? He immediately came out of the car, went and stood before the bonnet. He said, if it comes, I will stand like this. If I am 100% convinced and connected to Ahimsa philosophy, the elephant will go back. If the elephant comes and attacks me, nothing wrong with Ahimsa. It shows my lack of commitment to that ideal. And he was not telling inside the car. At that time, an elephant can come. He meant it. I know, whatever he says, Now we are trying to understand that. Ahimsa is not non-injury. It is the identification of oneself with the other. Then who are we to, why should we feel afraid? No? There is no other, no? He was a family man, Grihastha. Not that he wore this or learned this and that, no. Whatever he said, 100%. Talking, giving lectures, it's all easy, but conviction. He did not say that he's 100% committed to it. If he says, I have also witnessed many instances in our life with him. Absolutely fearless. Absolutely fearless. Not because of any arrogance, not because of any other thing. Malice towards none. Malice towards none. Now when we read this, we are remembering. When the malice towards none gets rooted in you, the sense of otherness leaves you, you will not bother about anybody. And 16th chapter, Abhayam Saptashuddhi, 24, Abhayam, which are the lakshanas, of a evolved soul. He says there are 24 values. It starts with Abhayam, fearlessness, ending with humility. Bhagavad Gita. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti Dhanam Damascha Yajnash Swadhyaya Tapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodam Tyagam Shanti Apaishwanam Daya Bodheshu Aleoluktam Mardavam Hri Achapalam Teja Kshama Dhridi Shaucham Adroho Natimanita. Natimanita means humble, humility. So, Enobaji says, this is the army. The commander is abhayam, fearlessness. At the back also we should be very careful. The enemy can come this way. So that is humbleness, humility. Beautiful. Why did we remember? Because you say, to see the first lesson Papa told Mataji is to see him in everybody and serve him as service to see him and serve him in everybody. So we also hear this. Many times we have heard. We want to practice also. No doubt about it. Everybody who has been in Papa's net definitely would like. But what is preventing us is we are holding our sense of individuality very close to us, which distances us from others. Unknowingly, I am holding back to me and mine, and that is unknowingly distancing me from the word other comes only because of that. So that was the first stage. That is our last stage, you know. First stage.
Not even last round.
And then again we come to realize that what could be that? Before that, she had elaborately explained about void. That means in such a short time, she joined Papa in 1928. And in 2 years' time, she had reached the highest. So that means in such a short time, the easily identifiable common denominator called the great void, that had come to her. We have been reading this In Quest of God for 30 years, 40 years. And there in the first chapter, first para, the word comes. Which word?
Great void.
Great void. But we have not applied our mind. Now I understand why Papa put it as the first. What is this great void? I should have plumbed deep. I did not know the what you call the literal meaning. Void, we have idea. Gap, void. That dictionary meaning, we know that. Void. Beyond which, no. And why this great void? Absolutely no idea. Even 3-4 years back, when we were finalizing our publications, 5-6 years back, 40-45 publications, to put it in one order. So at that time, many books were not translated in different language. So some they have done. For example, Malayalam. So this has to be translated, no? Every translator gets stuck up. What shall we say for this great void? How do we express this great void in Tamil? Everybody started going through this and that. They got some. In Malayalam, he said, Mahashunyam. That is the only way by which we can. It is not here, I think. And in Tamil, Vettavadi. Hindi, Kannada? Mahadakasha. What will you understand? Akasha, you would say, you claim. Who will understand? Even now, that is the word there. So that means we have not applied. We were not prompted to apply. Because it is tough. It can only come not from any knowledge. In Malayalam, Mahashunyava. എവിടെ ആശ്വാസം, എവിടെ വിശ്രാന്തി? സീമാതീതവും കാലാതിവർത്തിയുമായ മഹാശൂന്യതയിൽ നിന്ന്. The only explanation given is it is limitless, Simatitam, and beyond time and space. Kaladiyarthi. That Mahashunyam. ദീർഘനാളത്തെ ഹൃദയരോധനത്തിന് ഉത്തരം നൽകി നിരാശനാകരുത്, എന്നെ വിശ്വസിക്കൂ, നീ വിമോചിതനാകും. You read, you will not understand. What is that Kalathitam? What is that Simathitam? So Papa wanted all of it. After that, he has not made any mention. Probably 1925 he has written this word. After that, he has not uttered this word in any of his lectures. He had said this much: God is infinite, God is eternal. Therefore, God alone is real. Anything that has a beginning and end is unreal. It is only a mental projection. God cannot be divided into parts. Every part of him is full. You say 24 hours make a day, calculated on the basis of the movement of the sun. In fact, the sun never moves. The sun never rises, never sets. Still, we base our calculations on the sun's movements. It is all mind-made. When you go to the sun, is there any day or night? The calculation of 24 hours a day has no meaning there. So also about all measurement of space, which is infinite. They are all illusory. Therefore, the beginning and the end are the same. It is very difficult to understand infinity, eternity, in which all opposites meet, lose distinction, cannot be divided into parts. Only this much he has mentioned. First he said, great void. The cry was heard, from the great void came the voice, despair not, trust me, thou shalt be free. And this was the voice of Ram. When we enjoy intense happiness, we do not know how time passes. When we talk about God and merge in God, we transcend time and space. Therefore it is said, infinity and eternity is Amrita, the sweetest thing. Bliss is Amrita. Eternal joy is Amrita. Eternal joy is God. So the eternity, something similar to that you can say eternity. In the hall, Papa's words are, in the hall there are 4 walls. It is not the walls we are making use of, but the empty space within them. In a vessel, which is the most useful portion? The empty space within it. So if you empty yourself completely, you create something like a vacuum within yourself, then you are really full. You are almost useful. Some close. A flute, unless it is empty, is of no use. It must be hollow, otherwise it will not produce any music. You must empty yourself of the ego. Then the flute player will take you up. I am nothing, you are everything. That is the way to empty yourself. So when we were searching through Papas, only this we were able to find out. But Mataji has exhaustively mentioned. So we now find that Mataji was able to scale the heights in such a short time as Papa also, because Papa also could do that in such a short time, because they were approaching this reality as the great void. And the more we move toward the great void, the sense of otherness will, that means the sense of me and mine. That's why Mataji, you remember yesterday we read, so long as we hold on to the me and mine, it will not become. That means the otherness. The otherness comes because of. So when I try to identify the common features that are around me, slowly I develop a samskara, a culture by which I try to identify that which is common in all. Now we are trying to isolate ourselves from the rest, unknowingly. I am intelligent, I am dull, I am beautiful, I am ugly, I am healthy, I am not healthy. These are all some of the words by which I can easily grasp I difficult find to express it. So this is, the identification is very much with me. And this identification separates me, distances me from the world. I cannot straight away go within and find out the void in me. Because of ages I have practiced only starting from me and mine. So I must devise some method by which, because I spend a lot of time with the outside world, in my waking state, how much do I go inward? 99.9999% outward, yeah. So I can start from outward. So trying to identify the common factors in everything, in others, really touches and kindles the common factor in me. So the easy, I don't say easy way, but somehow through, what is this book?
Nama to Nama.
Yoga Vasishta.
Oh.
Yoga Vasishta must have been instrumental for Papa to get this word, great void. And he had gone deep into it, and he was able to get stabilized in this eternity, infinity, which is full and complete, Purnam, which does not allow any otherness. So when he passed on to Mataji was able to, her mind was so mature, or God was so kind enough to make it mature in such a short time. We must know that till 38th year, Papa was also leading an ordinary life, not associating with any of these thoughts. His attraction was literature, English literature. So, but in such a short time, 1920 to 1922. Similarly, when Mataji joined in 28, without doing any of the usual traditional sadhana, so Papa put her to go and serve the stranger's house, first, straight away. Now we are understanding all those things. How to erase this otherness, And she was able to get a glimpse about that, and then she got stabilized. That's what she has explained. And once this great void becomes clear, and when not intellectually, when it becomes experientially clear, then the passage for them was very smooth. They were able to identify the great void in anything and everything. Between the sound, between the talk, between the work, between the words, between anything and between the space. She said, the distance between you and me, that is the void. So we are in the void, we are moving in the void, we are resting in the void. 3 days back, somebody came and went and talking to me. He said, the moment I looked at her face, I couldn't. That was enough for me. That Purnatva. So he said her condition was that like of that a man who had left his native land, gone abroad to get a job, settled down, but his position, we had not cut off his ties with his family, but his position was as good as having done so. In that state, Mataji said she had lost practically all contact with the outside world. Though she continued to pursue her triple sadhana, there would be great wide spaces or void in her thought processes. Hence, between one idea and another, now you see, there would be a long yawning gap of 5 or 6 hours. While in that state, she was not inclined at all to speak to anyone because that blissful state, that Purnam. If anyone spoke to her, she would with just brush aside the disturbance. So after some time in this condition, one day, like an outburst of flame, she crossed the third stage of realization as a flash of light shot upward from the space between her eyebrows of the center and the crown of the head. Papa told her that even that fourth and final stage was not enough. If she wanted to know Papa in his perfection, she should enjoy the same bliss seeing her infinite Papa in the perishable world around as well. That meant she would have to descend to the relative plane from the absolute. It was no doubt like the ocean getting itself reduced to a dewdrop, just as merging in its infinite sorrow was like a dewdrop getting itself lost in the infinite. Gandhiji, same word.
David cheese yesterday.
Eh?
You go and merge in the sea, then come back as a bubble and retain the taste of the sea.
This was rather difficult to describe, Mataji said, but she would do it. So she said, my hand, my leg, and so on. Yet one passed away. One could not say where that me would have gone after the body had dropped. When one attained God realization and returned to the state of body consciousness, one did so with the full awareness that the body, the perishable, as it was like the clothes one wore. With the disappearance of our ego, the void we see all around us fills us up also. There is the none called I to call this mine, my doing, and so on. Everything becomes he and he alone. There is no mind even left to think. To reach this state, we must practice now itself, telling ourselves all the time, everything is you, my Lord. Once our mind gets fixed in the idea that everyone and everything is our Guru, we cannot but come to love all the people around us as our own. That is why He has given us this body, perishable though it is, to enable us to achieve the highest state. For that, we have to build up tremendous strength and capacity within ourselves. We can do so only by Guru Dhyan, Guru Smaran, and Guru Seva, the threefold path. You have to do a lot of thinking. Whatever situations we are placed in, whatever job we do, we should think that it is given to us by our Guru himself. In fact, our Guru is at the bottom of everything. Right from our birth in this human form, it is his power that makes us digest our food, grow up, and so on. If only we realize this much, we will all know that if we get any job, it is His doing only. Therefore, whatever work we are doing is His work. As we dedicate ourselves completely to Him in everything that we do, taking it as being done by Him only, our actions will become spontaneous, just as we unconsciously move our hands or feet. Our body consciousness then gets diluted until it disappears altogether. With the disappearance of our ego, the void we see all around us fills us up also. Nothing to discuss, only we have to go within. Mataji has provided everything. Though Papa did not talk much about this, Mataji is elaborately pointing out. Every time when I give Control F, so many places. Ah. In each volume. First volume itself 15, no? We have not yet crossed. And she directs us not only to the void world, with that we will close. It was 10 minutes to 2 o'clock when the most prominent Mataji wanted to narrate the story of a saint to the European devotees present, but she forgot the story just as she was on the point of narrating. She then asked the assembled devotees if they would like to hear about Papa. In one voice they replied that they would. Mataji then started saying that Papa, the infinite universal being, had taken a human form and was born as Ramdas in their midst to teach them to realize Him within them. In their midst, to teach them to realize Him within them. How did He want us to acquire this knowledge? He first gave this void a new name. Pah. Again the void. No? He first gave this void a name, namely Nirguna, Nirvikara, Swarup. Then He taught us, Mataji said, she was citing her own experience, that we could realize His Nirguna, Nirvikara, Swarup by following the threefold path, namely contemplating on His Nirguna aspect all the time, worshipping the same universal being as manifested in the form of the people around, and serving our Guru by serving him, and thirdly, by constantly chanting the mantra given to us by the Guru. If we did all these three, He would take no time whatsoever to reveal Himself in us in His universal form. Mataji said that to make it easy for them to understand, she had described Papa's Nirguna Nirvikara aspect as void or emptiness all around them with a motion of her hands. Mataji indicated the space between her and the listeners. It was the same emptiness that existed between earth and the skies, which fact could be realized if one went out into the open, say the Maidan, looked up at the skies overhead. With these words, Mataji concluded with a namaste and a smile. He first gave this word a name, namely Nirguna Nirvikara Swarup. We will keep on trying. Mataji is holding our hand. So we are rest assured she will not leave us. Now let us try, 3 times Ramnam. We will see the gap between one sound and the another, one word and the another. First the ABCD, we are trying. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. You heard some brochure.
English one is not here.
This is Sudha from Melbourne.
Yes, Swamiji, she sent email today. English is
Here.
It will give you some idea what is going on. You can go through that, okay? You'll be here for a few days?
Fridays.
You can meet later.